Yeah, I think we can.
It's 2-2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can wait for like 3 more minutes and then start.
Sure. Okay, we'll just give a couple of more minutes, to get started, just for everyone to join.
I think Saju also has joined. Assalamu alaikum, Saju.
Salam.
Islam. Okay, I think we can keep moving, Hafiz. Let's get started.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Ali, here, do you want to take over?
Yeah, sure. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome everyone to the June edition of YQuest program conducted by the Merchant Foundation Youth Nation team. As we communicated earlier, our June month theme is science fair, so we have a lot of interesting experiment project to showcase. So it will be an interesting session today. And moreover, we have some extended audience from our parents and also from our community members. So let's welcome everyone and thanks to joining today. So today's agenda is we will start with the guest speaker and then we'll go with the YG1 science project showcase and following by YG2. So if there is any questions on the project showcase or on the experiments, you can keep on till the end. So we have a question and answer session at the end. After that, we will announce the winners. From each category, we will have 3 winners. So we have external judges for that one as well. And yeah, next slide. Yeah, as I mentioned in the first slide, our theme is science fair, and we will be having a virtual science fair today. So we will start with our guest speaker. Today we have a special guest speaker, Faris Faisal, who is highly interested in the science experiments, and he's also participated in more science fairs, and he's aiming to contribute in the pharmaceutical development using the computational biology. And also he's currently doing his biomedical engineering at the University of Waterloo. So let's welcome Faris Faisal to share his experience during past science fairs, everything. Let's welcome Faris Faisal. Faris, it's your.
Hey everyone. Yeah, thanks for the introduction. So I've just put together a few slides about me, my science fair experience, and just some kind of tips and advice that
Hafiz, you can stop presenting maybe, and
Sure,
then
yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I actually haven't used Zoom a lot in the past, so I'm gonna try and share the screen.
You click on the green arrow, right? Share screen.
Yeah, like it's giving me an error. Let's see. Okay. Oh, there's a security thing for some reason. Sorry, technical difficulties.
That's okay.
No worries. Take your time. Yeah.
Oh, I see. I have to rejoin the call, I think. I'll just.
Can you?
Just give it a try, Faris. Otherwise,
Yeah, I mean, I think
go
it should
ahead,
allow
sorry.
you. Once you allow security, then I think it should try resharing again. It should allow you.
I've allowed it in security, but it says I have to quit and reopen.
Did you try once
Wait,
again?
let me make you a co-host. Just give it a try now.
Oh, actually, I think it's working now. Okay.
Yeah, it should work.
Yeah. Can you guys see the?
Cool.
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. Sorry about that. But yeah, I've just put together a short kind of presentation about me, some of my experiences briefly, and some advice I've put together, I guess. So some of this was in the introduction, but a bit about me. I grew up in Calgary. I'm here in Calgary right now, actually, and I'm a second year biomedical engineering student at University of Waterloo. So it's a co-op program. So right now, like you alternate between school and work. So right now I'm on a school term. And in the past, I've participated in science fair in middle and high school. And my interests mainly lie in drug discovery and mental health. So looking at like psychiatric medications. And these are just some images of me at science fair in the past. And so I'll just jump right into, I think the biggest piece of advice I have is, and you may have seen this before, it may seem a bit vague, but you don't know what you don't know. And I think that mainly has to do with the fact that, it's impossible to know everything or have all of the knowledge in a particular field. And because of that, it's hard to, it's even harder to assess how much you don't know, how much is out there that you could learn. And this is kind of demonstrated in a really popular or well-known study. Some of you may have heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect, but it's basically a chart that shows how much knowledge you actually have and how confident you are in your knowledge. So you can see at the start, you're like, what's going on? I don't really know anything. And you don't know anything. And then as you start learning, you feel like, you're learning pretty quickly and you're learning a lot. But as you're still learning at the start, you're not aware of just how much you don't know, right? So as you keep learning, you realize, oh, there's, a lot of these topics are starting to get more complex, and there's even more stuff that I'm starting to become aware of that I don't yet know or understand. And so this can be a big challenge, especially in science, because there's constantly new developments in every field of science and technology. And so, even as you keep learning, there's going to be new advancements, new theories, new discoveries. And so I think this is very important to keep in mind when you're doing a science fair project or trying to learn something new related to science. And so here's an example, just a hypothetical example I put together to try to demonstrate it. So let's say there's a high school student as well as like an academic scientist who's done their PhD, and they're both interested in vaccine research. And so the problem they're both trying to study is how to develop a vaccine for SARS-CoV-2, which is the scientific name for the virus that causes COVID-19. And so, I'm sure both of these individuals would be able to do some research online and try to put together just a general way on how to solve this problem, a general approach to how to develop a vaccine. But then when it comes to what's the best way to solve this problem, what's the best way we can develop a vaccine for this virus, well, then it starts to become trickier, because as a high school student, you might not be aware of all of the, different technologies or ways you can make a vaccine. But as a scientist who has lots of experience in the field, who's done a PhD and has done a lot of research, they may be, more aware of the different techniques and technologies that exist, as well as the current advancements that are being made in vaccine technology. So this is just a picture I grabbed online, and it shows the different types of vaccines that, the main different types of vaccines that are currently used. And so historically, we've used the actual virus, but just a killed version of it. So it can actually infect you. And so, you know, a high school student might do some research and see that, oh, lots of past vaccines used a virus that was killed to make a vaccine. But, you know, the academic scientist or researcher might realize, oh, there's this new technology, or well, technology that's been gaining a lot of traction and development recently, known as, you know, RNA-based vaccines. And then they may be able to do some more research into that and suggest that as the approach, right? But as a high school student, you may not even know that this exists because, you know, it's a part of the breadth of knowledge that you don't know you don't know. And I'm sure you guys have heard of the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines. Those are RNA-based, and those are some of the first RNA-based vaccines, you know? And before this pandemic, most people wouldn't have even heard of this type of vaccine. So that's just an example. And I guess going off of that, I think when you're starting a science fair project, or, you know, trying to learn something new or get more experience in an area, I think it's really important to give yourself time to learn, you know? So for a science fair project, I think the first step is to pick a general topic, you know, whether you're interested in medicine or climate change, right? And then I think once you've picked a topic, it's important to delve deeper rather than trying to, you know, jump to necessarily picking a project topic, because you might find something that you're even more interested in after you've done some more research and learning. So let's say you're interested in climate change. To delve deeper, you could look at some online courses about climate change, you know, or specifically like so maybe some online courses on greenhouse gas emissions and pollution and things like that. And there's also tons of resources on YouTube and even on Wikipedia. Sometimes it's easy to, you know, go to a Wikipedia article and then you see a link for a topic or word that you've never seen before, and then you click on that and keep repeating that. But I think things like that are important, you know, because then you start to learn you start to gain deeper knowledge on the topic. And I know a lot of you guys are still in school, and so published papers may not be something you've necessarily interacted with, but typically in academia, like in university, people will publish papers in academic journals, and you can view them on Google Scholar and other websites such as PubMed and Archive. And so a lot of these papers will be very complicated. Even like, I guess I'm only my undergraduate degree, but I also have a very hard time understanding these papers sometimes. But I think it's still worth, you know, doing research, trying to get exposure to them. Let's say you find a paper on how climate change has been affecting the world in the past year, and you start reading it. You know, it starts off and it's not too bad. They talk about what climate change is, things that cause climate change, but then they start to talk about specifics, and you see a word or a term or a concept that you've never even seen before. You can just take that concept, focus on that and delve into that. And then once you've understood that, at least at a basic level, then you can move on and keep working through the paper. And I think that's a really good way to learn a lot about a specific topic. And I guess just as an example of how I went about this for one of my science fair projects, this was at the end of high school, so grade 11, grade 12. This project was looking at synthetic blood transfusions. So as most of you might know, blood transfusions right now are done using blood donations from real people. But, you know, I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool if maybe we could try to create something that could be used in a blood transfusion in a lab or a factory? And, you know, clearly this isn't something that's already been done or successfully. Otherwise it would be used around the world, because blood donations are a very tricky process, right? And so what I did is I looked up past studies on this. I looked up articles. I just searched up artificial blood transfusions. And keep in mind, like at the start of this, I had no idea about anything blood related really, except for what I learned in my biology courses. And as I did research, I came across this thing called hemoglobin-based oxygen carriers. So in the blood, the protein that carries oxygen is called hemoglobin. And so what this technology tried to do in the past is, rather than taking whole blood from a person that has donated it at a center, you can take hemoglobin from even cow's blood, actually, which I know may sound weird, but the hemoglobin itself is still able to give oxygen to different parts of your body. But then, you know, this technology seemed pretty promising, and I started to wonder, well, why isn't this a thing? You know, it's clearly there's been a lot of research on it in the past, so there has to have been some issue that stopped it from being used in the real world. And after doing some Googling, I found that the main cause was instability. So when you take blood from a person, the hemoglobin that carries oxygen is wrapped around it. It's inside cells. So when you take the hemoglobin out, it becomes unstable and it can break down. Because if you imagine hemoglobin, the protein is made up of a bunch of different blocks. Inside the cell, those stick together, but when you take it out, they start to break apart, and that can be bad for the body. And so I did some more research into ways to fix that. You know, how can we make something like hemoglobin more stable? And, you know, a lot of these things I kind of came across by chance, just through Google searches, reading articles, watching videos. And so I came across this thing called computational biomolecular simulation. And so it's a bit of a mouthful, but it's a really cool technique where you can use computers to simulate certain molecules and proteins and predict what they would do in the real world. Because in the real world, if you try to look at an individual molecule, you know, it'd be really, really hard to look at it with detail because it's so small. But on a computer, if you use software to simulate it, then you can, obviously, you know, it's not in the real world, but you can see the molecule individually, and you don't have to worry about how small it is, you know. And so with this technique, I, you know, obviously had no experience with it. I had no idea how it even worked, but I delved into YouTube tutorials, looked at online resources like tutorials that people have posted, and I just kind of learned bit by bit and started trying to use this technology on my own laptop even. And as I did more and more research, I started to gain a better and better understanding of how this technique works, how blood transfusions and that technology using hemoglobin works. And after I kind of gathered all of those little pieces, I tried to put them together in a small little report where I drafted an idea for an experiment I could do. And this draft didn't end up being what I actually did in the end, because I still had no actual research experience with this. And that's why I ended up contacting a professor at the University of Calgary, and they gave me advice. We worked together to improve the experiment idea and try to refine it. And then I was able to try out different things using this technique, and and with the help of the professor as well as the people in his lab. And so that's just my process, how I kind of went about one of my science fair projects, but everyone's going to be different. And, you know, this took 1 to 2 years, and there were lots of ups and downs. So definitely, you know, kind of follow your own path, I guess. But a few other pieces of advice I have, I think learning and experience is a lot more valuable than any competitions or awards. And this is something actually, one of the students, university students in that lab that I did my project under, I remember them actually saying, you know, these science fairs, no one's going to remember them in 10 years. No one's really going to care. But what you learn and the experience you gain and the knowledge you have is going to stay with you and going to continue to help you. Not saying that science fairs are bad. They're fun and a great experience and great way to meet people. But, the learning is a lot more important. And I also think you should write everything down. So I'm not sure if you guys have logbooks or have heard about logbooks for your projects, but typically when people do research, they have a logbook where they note down everything they do and keep track of all of the progress they make, all of the mistakes they make, everything they learn. And this is really useful because then later on you can look back and let's say you make a mistake again or something similar, wrong happens, you can look back and see what you did before, or look back and see what progress you've made over a certain amount of time. So I think it's really important to keep track of all of that. And lastly, definitely take it easy because science fair should be fun and it shouldn't be something that stresses you out in a bad way, and I think it's also okay to change your mind. Science and learning is it's not constant, it's not linear, it's all over the place. So if you end up picking a topic and you start to do research on it, start to think about it, and then you realize it's not really that interesting, I don't really like it that much, it's totally okay to start over. Sometimes for science fairs you'll have deadlines and stuff, but it's important to focus on making sure that what you're doing is interesting and that you enjoy it. But yeah, that's my presentation. Good luck with everything and let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Forrest. I think it was a very good tips that you provided to everyone, not just for the kids, but even for grown-ups like us. You can, everyone can even start utilizing it for their day-to-day stuff that they don't know about. Before we move on to the next section, any questions for Faris? Anything you would like to know about his current projects or anything else? Okay, I guess no questions.
Okay.
Well,
Thanks. Yeah, thanks
thank
a
you
lot,
once
Faris.
again, Faris.
Really appreciate your time and effort. Okay, and thanks for joining us today. I know it has been tough, it's 2 hours early for you, but still you manage, to come on time. Really appreciate that, Faris. Hope to meet with some bigger sessions with our kids, sometime in the future.
Yeah, if anyone has questions, feel free to. I think
Yeah.
you guys have my email, so yeah.
Sure, we'll definitely share with the team as well. So they can, get in touch with you.
All right. Good luck with everything, guys.
Bye,
Thank you, Faris.
Thanks, Faris.
There's nothing else. I think I will.
Okay, so our next section is science fair, the one that you all have been waiting for. So before we start, I'll take like 2-3 minutes to explain the process. So science fair, it's best done if we are in a building, in a lab room where everyone is next to each other, everyone has their apparatus in front of them, but COVID has changed everything. So we are performing this science fair virtually, which means that whoever is presenting the science project would be doing it online. So there are 2 formats. So majority of the science fair is presented in a pre-recorded fashion. So our contestants, they have done the science project before today. I mean, like a couple of days before today. They have recorded it and we will be playing that video for you. So please ensure that you are silent because this is a recorded video. We won't be rewinding it and playing it again. So listen carefully what the contestant is talking about, what that person is explaining. If you have any questions, you may write it down. Unfortunately, due to time limitation, we won't be able to open it up for Q&A immediately. After each science project, we would open it up for the judges. In case they have any questions, they can ask, but not for anybody else. But towards the end, we will dedicate some time for any common questions to the contestants. So If you have any questions, as Faris mentioned, write it down, like what is your question, what do you want to know? And then towards the end, you can ask questions. So 2 key things, please be on mute when the video is being played, because if there is noise, you may not be able to hear what the contestant is talking about. Secondly, reserve your questions towards the end. Okay, I hope it's clear. And with that, I hand it over to Irfaz and Safia, who would be facilitating the YG1 sessions along with our science fair event managers, Fatima Nazween and Mohammad Nisam. So over to you, folks.
Thanks, Hafiz. Really appreciate that. So I think we can get started with the YG1 science fair. Team leads, Fatima, Mohammed, you guys ready, right? And the judges for YG1 event, we have two judges actually. Saju, the parent of Saiha from our YQuest team, and Jamshid, the father of Zemar. Zemar is in India currently, but still Jamshid has came forward to help us. Okay, welcome Saju and Jamshid as well. Judges, you guys are also ready, right?
Yeah, thank you.
And you have your scoring sheets, to note down the different categories and marks accordingly. Okay, I think over to your team leads. Take over.
Here's Yahya with my floating message. Hello everyone, I'm scientist Yahya. Welcome to Yahya's Fun Lab. Today I'm going to do an experiment called my floating message. So all we need is, if you want, you can take some food coloring and some dry erase markers. I call them magic pens. And a glass of water. And you need something to mix with. So let's start making a message. Stay home. Stay safe. Stay home, stay safe. And now I'm gonna do my house. This is my house. And now I'm gonna jump me and my friend. This is fun. And I'm drawing 6 feet apart. And here the magic begins. Before that, I need to add some green food coloring. And now I'm gonna pour the water gently. And then make the water go through whatever you drawed. Can you see me and my friend and my home and the letters floating? That's so fun. The reasons all of these are floating is that the ink is not soluble in water, and number 2 is the ink is less dense than water. So the buoyancy force makes the letters float. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you like my video.
Good one, Yahya.
Thank you, Yahya, for that very nice presentation. Thank you.
Yeah. Judges, if you have any questions, you can ask maybe immediately or note down towards the end. Up to you guys.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, me too.
That was an awesome presentation, Yahya. Now we have Isma, who's doing a tornado in a bottle.
Hi everyone, my name is Isma and welcome to my science lab. We are going to be doing a few simple experiments that everybody can do at home with water and bottles. So we're going to be using this bowl so that we don't waste any water. So the first experiment is, how fast can you dump out all the water into the bowl? Let's pour in the water. It normally takes about 8 to 10 seconds for it to be fully emptied. So the air is going up and the water is going down. The air is going up and the water is going down. Can you guys think of a way that air and water can go down at the same time so it will go much faster? Here it is. Give it a little spin. And see how much faster it goes? So the next experiment is the tornado in a bottle. So for this you need 2 bottles, one empty and one half full. And you also need the tornado tube, which you can get online. A kid named Craig Burnham, when he was 7, invented this toy called the tornado tube. He was trying to make an hourglass and tried to connect 2 bottles together. So in 1986, he filed a patent about this, and then the tornado tube became a very popular science toy. So you take the tornado tube, twist it on here, nice and tight. Okay, and put it on here, and twist it nice and tight too. Then you flip it over. And see how the water goes really slow? That's because there's air blocking it to go down. Now you give it a very nice shake. See how the tornado's forming? Wow. See, the top part is called the anvil and the bottom part is called the vortex. Okay, now let's add some color to the water. So this is lamp oil, so we're going to add it some. So let's screw it on again. Flip it over and start to shake. So it's slowly being a colored tornado. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please try this. Bye.
That was a really cool presentation, Isma.
Judges, do you have any questions?
Isma,
Go ahead.
sorry. Yeah, just this is Jamshed. So Isma, just want to check what sort of color you have used. Is it just a plain color or have you?
It's lamp oil.
It's a lamp. Okay, thank you. Yeah, you can go ahead.
And Isma, why is that tornado happening? What is the science behind that? Any idea?
Not really.
That's okay. And have you tried any other liquids other than water, like apple juice? Do you see the same thing?
No.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Next is Azza with wearing liquid.
Hello everyone, my name is Azza and today I'll be doing the layering liquids experiment. I have already done the experiment beforehand. So density is a kind of weight that pulls the liquid down. The more dense it is, the lower it will stay, and the least dense it is, the higher it will stay. The liquids that I have used in this are honey, the corn syrup is the pink one which I've added some food coloring, maple syrup, milk, dish soap, water with some green food coloring, and oil. By looking at this glass, I can say that honey is the most dense and the oil is the least dense. The milk and the dish soap got a little mixed up, so I tried it in another glass. You can see that it is a bit more clear over here. By looking at this glass, I would like to say that the experiment has concluded, and what I have found out is every single liquid has a different form of density. We can only do this experiment by using these densities. If density did not exist, these would all be mixed up and make a murky color. Thank you.
Thank you, Azza, for that very nice presentation. Judges, do you have any questions?
How much?
Jamshed, 1 second, Jamshed. I think I don't see Azza today. Azza, you there? Yeah, I don't see Regina and Azza, so I don't think they are here.
Okay, no problem.
Now we have Jasin, who's doing a volcano.
Hi everyone, this is Jasin. Today I'm going to show you my volcano model. Before I show you my volcano model, let me talk about volcanoes. What is a volcano? A volcano is a mountain that allows hot lava, volcanic ash, and gases to escape from a magma chamber below the surface. There are a lot of active and inactive volcanoes. The active volcanoes are erupting now. The inactive volcanoes are not erupting now, but erupted in the past. The tallest volcano in the solar system is Mount Olympus, located in Mars. Mauna Loa in Hawaii Island is the tallest volcano on Earth, which is more than 4,000 meters in height. Our volcano erupts when there is a lot of pressure under the surface. The volcano erupts gas, lava, and volcanic ash to decrease the pressure. After the lava comes out, it cools in some days and becomes rocks called basalt. The erupted ash and droplets of acid can affect the temperature. Now let me show you my volcano model. I made a mountain model. Inside I kept one bottle and covered it with some paper and glue. Now I'm going to paint it. I painted my volcano model. Now I'm going to show you how it will erupt. To make the lava, I'm going to add some baking soda. Then I'm going to add some color. Finally, I'm going to add some vinegar. When the baking soda and the vinegar mixes together, it makes a lot of pressure. The air pushes the pressure all the way to the top and then releases it, making it lava. I'm going to add a baking soda. I'm going to add the food color and the vinegar. I think everyone likes my volcano. Thanks for watching and try it yourself.
Great job, Jasin.
Raju, Jamshid, any questions? You can.
I'm good. Good job, Jasin.
Shazin, you are there?
Yeah.
Ali, yeah, okay, good.
Okay. So, will you go near to a volcano eruption in real world?
No,
Why?
because the lava is so hot.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Here's Reefer with floating egg.
Hi everyone, my name is Reefer and today I'm going to be presenting my experiment called the floating egg. What you'll need is salt and a tablespoon, 3 eggs that are the same size, and 3 glasses with water in them. These glasses are filled up to the same level, which is 3/4 of its size, and this is normal water. Now let's start the experiment. First, you take 1 egg and put it in a glass of water. This has nothing in it, it's normal water. The next one we will put, this one we want to make it partially float. So we will put about 3.5 spoons of salt. That's 1. 2. 3. And about a half. Now I'm going to, in the third glass, I'm going to put 4 tablespoons of salt. 2, 3, and 4. Now to mix it, I will get a different spoon. Okay, now I have a different mixing spoon, but before I do that, let's just add 1 more tablespoon of salt into the third glass. Now to dilute the salt, I will mix it. The first one has nothing in it. The second one has 3.5 spoons of salt, and the third one has 5 spoons of salt. Now it's a mix, so we will put in the other 2.
Sorry about that. Let me check.
It's a mix, so we will put in the other 2 eggs. Okay, now I've put all the eggs in each of the glasses. So, as you can see, all of these eggs are in different levels. The first one, it fully sinks. The second one, it floats partially, it floats in the middle. And the third one, it floats all the way to the top. So the meaning behind this is called density. Density means how close the particles are together. So what's happening here is that the density of the egg is higher than the density of the water, so it sinks. In the second glass, the density of water, salt water, because we added salt, and the density of the egg are the same. That's why the egg floats in the middle. In the third glass, the density of the egg is less than the density of salt water because we put 5 tablespoons of salt this time. So it floats up all the way to the top. So that is the simple meaning of density. So now I'm going to give you an example so you can understand density more easier. So if you had 1 pound of iron and 1 pound of cotton and you put them in water, which one do you think will be more heavier? The answer is they both weigh the same amount. So even though they weigh the same weight, iron is more dense than cotton. Cotton takes up more space in water because it soaks up. Iron is more dense because the particles in iron or any other metal is more closer than the particles within cotton. So in our case, with our experiment, in the first glass, the egg the particles of the egg is more closer than the particles of normal water. When we add salt to water, the particles of salt water becomes more closer. After we add more salt, it keeps getting closer. So that's why the levels of the egg changes.
Yeah, thank you, Rifa. Go ahead, Mohammed Fatima.
Thank you, Reefer, for that very nice presentation. Judges, do you have any questions?
Yeah, Rifa, have you tried sugar instead of salt and see if it makes the water more dense?
Rifa, you're on mute. Did you hear that?
Hello?
Yeah, did you hear the question? I can repeat it if not. Have you tried sugar instead of salt? If to see if it makes the water more dense?
No.
Do you think it will make the water more dense? Using sugar instead of salt?
Yes.
And why is that? Any idea?
Because the density of water will increase when you put the sugar.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Jamshid, any questions from you?
No, I'm good.
Okay, yeah. Keep moving.
Now we have Noreen, who's going to be doing a lava lamp.
Hello friends, my name is Noreen, and in this video I'll be showing you how to make a model of a lava lamp and how it works. A lava lamp is a decorative lamp that was very popular in the 1940s. It is a perfect example of buoyancy, solubility, and convection. Buoyancy is the ability to float or sink, like for example a twig, it floats on water. Solubility is the ability to dissolve in water or any liquid, for example, salt. Convection means heat transfer, for example, when a heat is transferred to a pan when you cook. This is what you need to make the model of a lava lamp. You need a clear glass, Alka-Seltzer tablet, which you can buy at the store, some food coloring, some water, and some oil. Now let me show you how to make the lava lamp. First, pour in your half cup of cooking oil. Now pour in your quarter to half cup of water. See how the water went directly underneath the oil. This is where buoyancy comes in. The water is more denser than the oil, which causes the oil to flow over the water. Now it's time to add the food coloring. You're free to choose any color that you like. Now the last and final step to add the Alka-Seltzer tablet. When you add the tablet, what will happen is that the sodium bicarbonate in it which is basically baking soda, the citric acid, orange, and lemon, and the aspirin will be dissolved and released into the water. The three things, the substances, will react with the water and look like and create fizz. The fizz will form to be carbon dioxide bubbles.
Sorry about that.
Will form to be carbon dioxide bubbles. Hello friends, my name is will react with the water and look like and create fizz. The fizz will form to be carbon dioxide bubbles. So watch carefully. What you see, this is what the carbon dioxide bubbles look like. They're going up to the surface. The Alka-Seltzer tablet is needed so that the bubbles can be released to the oil, as the water is denser than the oil and cannot go into the oil. In a real lava lamp, the bubbles are actually made of paraffin wax. And what happens is that heat transfer in the lava lamp caused by the bulb in the lava lamp will heat the bubble, and the molecules in the the paraffin wax. The molecules in the paraffin wax will heat up and will flow up to the top. And the top is a cooler, which will cool down the paraffin wax bubbles and send it back to the bottom. This process will repeat itself over and over again, creating the effect of a lava lamp. We just saw a demonstration of how the lava lamp works. If you noticed, we saw that when we put the food coloring into the glass, it didn't mix with the oil, but it mixed with the water. That's because the food coloring is insoluble to the oil, which means that it won't mix with oil, but will only mix with water. Now, let me tell you how the real lava lamp works. In the blobs of the real lava lamp are molecules which use kinetic energy to move. When the blobs heat up, the molecules move faster, which causes them to move faster too. When they are cooled down, they move slower and slowly sink to the bottom. This makes the lava lamp look cool. If you like this experiment, please do try it at home and tell me how it went. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye! Thank you, Noreen, for that very nice presentation.
Just anything you want to ask?
Good work, Noreen. Your project is a lava lamp. Have you tried switching off the lights and see whether you can you get light from that lamp?
No, but I have a feeling that it won't work because I think it's called a lamp because there's a light in the actual thing.
Okay, Thank you.
a separate one that isn't in the oil or the water.
Okay. Thank you.
So Noreen, so what sort of oil which you used? We were saying.
Cooking oil, vegetable oil.
Okay. So do you have a real lava lamp with you?
No, but I have seen one.
Okay. So okay. So for the comparison purpose, I was just checking. Did you see that any similarities once you made, which you made, and what the actual?
Yeah, I think. No, I mean, yeah, it looks the same. Like what's happening in it, it looks the same, but not exactly with the real lava lamp beside it. No.
Yep. Got it. Thanks. Sorry. It's good.
Yeah, we can move forward.
Hina, with static, with a few experiments on static electricity.
Hello everybody, I'm Hina Nazil and this is my brother No. Today I'm going to do few experiments to show how static electricity works. Did you ever go on a slide or touch someone and get a shock?
Yes.
Do you know why?
No.
That's because of static electricity.
What is static electricity?
Static electricity is by rubbing two objects. The result is objects get attracted to each other or may even create a spark. Come, I will show you some experiments. For this experiment, we need three items: a cloth, a PVC pipe, and a can. First, we take the PVC pipe and rub it on the cloth for 40 seconds. Then we bring the PVC pipe close to the can and you can see it moving. Experiment, we need two foam plates and a cloth. Rub two foam plates with the cloth for 40 seconds. Then bring the plates together. You can see the static electricity is causing the plates to repel from each other. For this experiment, we need a scale, a pencil, a small piece of paper, and a cloth. So we take the scale and rub it with the cloth for 40 seconds. Then bring the scale close to the paper and you can see it moving. I'll show you another example of static electricity. You see my hair jumping.
Thank you for watching my sister's video. Hope you like it. Thank you, Hina, for that very nice
presentation. Do you have any questions with this?
Good job, Hina. What did you learn from your experiment?
When you rub an object, the negative energy is formed to the object, and when you bring that to the positive object, it will attract it to each other. When you bring the negative object to a negative another negative object, it will repel from each other.
Okay, good job. Thank you.
I'm good. Thanks, Hina.
Fatima Muhammad, you guys can give the intro.
Now we have Afshan Nissan with an exploding bag.
Hello, my name is Afshan, and today I'll be doing a science experiment, an exploding bag. Here's what you'll need. You'll need half cup vinegar, 1/4 cup warm water, 3 teaspoons of baking soda. You'll also need a Ziploc and 1 tissue. Let's get started. First, you're going to want to add the warm water inside the Ziploc. Then you're going to want to add the vinegar inside the Ziploc too. Okay, now we're just going to want to close the Ziploc. Now you're going to want to put the baking soda inside the tissue and fold it. Now for the explosion part. There's a hole in the bag, so that means it popped. The explosion was a success. The experiment was a success. Let me tell you how it worked. So when the vinegar and baking soda mix, its result is a chemical reaction that produces carbon dioxide along with water and sodium acetate. If the bag is properly sealed, it will trap the carbon dioxide until it fills up, at which point it pops. That's how you make an exploding bag. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.
Fatima Muhammad, you guys there?
Good job, Afshan. Do the judges have any questions?
Yeah, Afshan, I'm just wondering, why did you do your experiment outside and not inside your house?
Because if I did it inside my house, the exploding part would make a mess. So it'd be better if you did it outside.
Okay, thank you.
So just a follow-up. So do you know why it didn't burst out? It didn't came out after the bursting?
Oh, because when it popped, the water and the vinegar came out, but not the baking soda mostly. But
okay. So it did came out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Next is Fatima with fireworks in a glass.
Today I'm going to be showing you a science experiment, which is fireworks in a glass. They're not real fireworks, but they look like fireworks. Your ingredients are vegetable oil, whatever food color you want, a glass filled with warm water, and an empty glass, and then you need a tablespoon. So first, take your empty glass and put in 2 tablespoons full of oil. 1 and 2. Okay. Now you need whatever food color you want. I'll be using blue. 3 drops of that. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now you need to mix that in. It doesn't have to be all the way mixed, just until they're like small drops. Okay. Now that that's done, your last step is pouring your oil into your warm water. And now you have to wait. Put it closer so you guys can see. See? The fireworks are starting. The reason this is happening is because the oil doesn't mix with water, but the food color does. And the oil is less heavy than the water, so the oil goes up and the water stays down. And the food color, since it's the only one that mixes, it goes down and it looks like fireworks. Okay, that's it for this experiment. Bye.
Mohammed, I think you're on mute.
Thank you, Fatima, for that very nice presentation. Judges, do you have any questions?
Yeah, Fatima, you said that oil is heavier than water. In science, there is a word that you use to describe that. Do you know what that word is?
Is it density?
Yes, correct. Thank you.
So do you know if any fireworks happen when you prepare food? Because there is oil, food color, and everything comes into picture. Do you think about that?
No.
Okay. Just see next time when somebody is cooking, anything is happening or not. Thank you.
Now we have Mohammed who's doing panicked pepper.
Hi, my name is Mohammed, and today I'll be doing panicked pepper. What you need dishwash soap, pepper, cotton swab, and a bowl of water. Okay, first you pour a little bit of pepper inside here. Next, you take a little bit of the dishwash soap and put it onto the cotton swab. Next, you slowly put the cotton swab in the middle. And then when you did that, then all the pepper gets so panicked and it runs away. Thank you for watching my experiment. Hope you liked it. Bye!
Great presentation, Mohammed. Do the judges have any questions?
Yeah, Mohammed, did you use anything else other than pepper to see if it gets panicked?
No.
So what do you think makes the pepper panic and move away?
I think, like, for example, two magnets, if you put it here to here, it won't go together, and then one of the magnets will fall. But if you put it here to here, then it will stick. And I think, like, the dishwash soap and the pepper plus the water, it's like the dishwash soap was like this side of the magnet, and the pepper was this side of the magnet. And then when you join them together, the magnet gets, the pepper gets so panicked and runs away.
Okay, good. Do you know what the sides of the magnets are called?
I think this one is called, well, this one is the north side, and this one is also the north side. The back sides are the south side.
South sides. Okay, good job. Thank you.
Jamshid, you good to proceed?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, good. Okay.
Next is Phonic with bouncy eggs.
Assalamu alaikum everybody. My name is Vanik, and today I'll show you how to make a bouncy egg. The things you need to make a bouncy egg are a glass, an egg, and some vinegar. First, let's put the egg in the glass, and then let's fill vinegar up to the top of the egg. Then we have to wait 24 hours, and now it's been 24 hours, and this is how the egg looks. Now let's take the egg out of the glass and start peeling it. After peeling the egg, this is how it looks, and you have to soak it in water. After washing the egg, this is how it looks. The egg is very soft. Now the exciting part, let's see if it bounces. Now let's see some cool effects. Wow. Oh. Wow, that's so amazing. Science behind the bouncy egg. The acetic acid in the vinegar reacts with the calcium carbonate in the eggshell to make calcium acetate plus water and carbon dioxide that you see as bubbles on the surface of the shell. When you shine flashlight through the egg, it looks transparent because the hard outside shell is gone. Thank you everyone. I hope you all enjoyed.
Thank you, Rana, for that very nice presentation. Judges, do you have any questions?
Yeah. So 1 second. So it's Ronak, right? So what's the chemical behind vinegar, which you were telling? Can you just repeat that? Is it there, Ronak?
Yeah, Ronak, I see him. Ronak, you there?
Vinegar has
You just repeat that, Ronak. Sorry.
vinegar has acetic acid in it.
Mhm. Okay, so how that helps in bouncing?
The shell is gone, and that's how it helps make the egg bounce.
Okay. So do you know anything else other than vinegar can be used for this experiment?
No, I don't know anything else.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Thanks, Rana. That's it.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Fatima or Muhammad. Team leads, you're on mute, I guess. Yeah, go ahead.
Now we have Hazel with a water fountain.
Hi everyone! Today I'll be showing you how to make a non-stop fountain. This is what you'll need. You'll need 6 straws, 3 bottles, a drill, a hot glue gun, a knife, and scissors. Glue 1 bottle cap. Put another one on top. Drill 2 holes on the bottle cap and 1 on the bottom of the bottle. Close 2 bottles together by using the glued bottle cap. Cut the end of 1 straw and connect the straw. Cut off the bendy part. Take the glued bottle cap off and put the straw on one of the holes. Close the lid. Cut at the top of the red straw and connect another red straw on it. Cut off the flexy part of 2 green straws. Cut the end of 1 straw and connect the other on that straw. Put the green straw on the other bottle cap hole. Measure the bottle cap and cut the green straw. Put the other bottle on top. Cut a little bit of the red straw over the bottle. Take 2 straws and cut off the bendy part. Cut the bottom of the straw and connect the straws together. Take the other bottle cap and put that straw through 1 hole. measure the bottle cap on the bottle. Glue the bottom of the bottle. Cut the third bottle into a funnel shape. Put the funnel-shaped bottle on the bottle cap. Take one bendy part off the straw and put it on the blue straw. Take off the stickers off the bottle. Tilt. Pour water on the top so it fills the bottom bottle. Tilt it a little so water will go in the middle bottle. Pour water in the top. See, friends, my project didn't work out, but it's okay because trying is more important. Let me explain the science behind my project. Once we've primed the fountain until there's water in the middle bottle, we pour more into the funnel at the top. This pulls down the red straw into the bottom bottle and displaces the air in this bottle, pushing it up through the yellow straw into the middle bottle. The pressure increases and pushes the water in this bottle up through the blue straw, resulting in a fountain which continues to feed itself until either the water level in the bottom bottle rises higher than in the yellow straw, or the water level in the middle bottle falls below the blue straw. To reset it, we can turn it all upside down to refill the middle bottle. Then remove bottom bottle. Pour the water back into our jug and restart the fountain.
Thank you, Azel. Thank you for that very nice presentation.
Yeah, hey, Isel, it's really good. We like that how you were explaining and everything. So, did you think about like why the outcome didn't come? Do you know the reason why?
We weren't able to fill the metal bottle all the way up.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
So what are you going to try differently in your next attempt? Try and improve from this attempt. What are you going to do?
I don't know.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, with that, I think we have come to the end of YG1. Thanks Mohammed and Fatima for the wonderful hosting of the event, and thank you, judges. You guys can take some time, consolidate your discussions. Meanwhile, over to Niza. Right? Oh, sorry, Jamshid. Yeah.
Yeah, just want one for Yahya is still there, right?
Yahya, are you there?
Yeah, I just want to.
Yes.
Hi, Yahya. So just
Hi.
want to check. Why is there any specific reason why you choose the floating message? What attracted towards that experiment?
Because it's colorful and cool.
Okay, and what did you learn from that experiment? What did you like?
About the buoyancy force, and I understand that the ink was not soluble.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Aya.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Yeah, that's it from my side.
Okay, any questions, final question to the judges before we wind up the YG1 and start with YG2?
I'm good. Good job, everyone. Well done.
Yes, Saju, Jamshid, if you guys want to take a small discussion yourself and keep the winners ready, it'll be helpful for us. Yeah. Okay. Meanwhile, Nisa, over to you for YG2.
Yeah, YG1 team members, you all did a good job and very interesting presentations. Now it's time for YG2. So I hope the YG2 team leads Hania and Aman is here.
Yes.
They are ready. Yeah. Okay. And I also welcome our judges. Our YG2 judges are Febi Gafoor and Kebir. They are Kebir is a parent of Naureen, and Febi is Aisha and Fatima's mom. They are also our YG1 and YG2 team members. So I welcome them. And now it's time for the team members. The team leads. Go ahead with that.
Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the YG2 Science Fair. My name is Aman.
My name is Hania.
And today we are going to show you what our friends in YG2 have made us for their experiments. So yeah.
First, we have Aban doing a presentation about DNA.
DNA, presented by me. Disclaimer, there are different types of DNA genes. We'll only be talking about coding genes. If you have a question on what genes are, hold that thought because we'll be talking about them soon. Chromosomes. Chromosomes are found in a cell's nucleus, or the brain of the cell. There are 46 chromosomes in a human cell nucleus, and all these chromosomes hold a manual of making you, DNA. DNA chromosomes' physical features consist of being thread-like and made of protein. Did you know the thread is actually the DNA? The DNA is coiled around a protein called histones, and the coiled DNA is coiled again to make chromosomes. DNA, or otherwise known as deoxyribonucleic acid, is a manual to building you. DNA is read by a polymerase and helps the polymerase make a RNA copy of a gene. A gene is a section of DNA strand which consists of C's, T's, G's, and A's. Those are called the nucleotide bases. Those letters have meaning. Those in the same order, the meaning are cytosine, thymine, guanine, and adenine. We'll only talk about these bases later on. DNA's looks are similar to a spiral ladder. DNA is similar to RNA, ribonucleic acid, but the difference is that DNA is made with deoxyribose sugar, while RNA is made with ribose sugar. RNA is only one-sided and DNA is two-sided. If you have a question on where these sugars are in DNA and RNA, we'll be talking about them soon. Also, RNA uses the nucleotide bases C's, U's, G's, and A's. The difference is that there's no more T's for RNA. C's, G's, and A's still have the same meaning. U stands for uracil. RNA is used in three ways or three categories: mRNA, messenger RNA, tRNA, transfer RNA, rRNA, ribosome RNA, boron RNA in the next slide. Polymerase and ribosomes. Remember how I said the polymerase reads the DNA and makes copies of it? Well, those copies of the genes consist of nucleotides. The copied nucleotides are sent to ribosomes. This is the instruction part of DNA, or mRNA, which holds the codes and recipes. Did you know that the Pfizer vaccine uses the mRNA that tells ribosomes how to make a protein that can fight back COVID-19? Anyways, the RNA copies are sent to a ribosome who needs to use the instruction to make proteins with the tRNA amino acids. tRNA are with the ribosomes to decode the mRNA to decide which amino acids the ribosomes need. Since there are 20 types of amino acids, the amino acids will also decide traits for the protein. When the amino acids on the tRNA link, they form proteins. Then when they do, they chain together to make a protein. This chain is called a polypeptide chain. Did you know tRNA even looks like a T even though it's an RNA strand, which means it should be single-stranded, but it's double-stranded in tRNA? Well, not really, it's not touching. Also, So you must be wondering where the third RNA is used. Well, all it does is just make up ribosome RNA, ribosomes, hence the name ribosomal RNA. Nucleotides and proteins. Nucleotides are put in DNA and RNA strands to determine what makes you different from others, depending on the pattern in the gene. Nucleotides are made of phosphate, sugar, and a base. The base can be the T's, A's, G's, and C's. Sugar molecules are shaped in a pentagon, so when you're studying DNA, you don't say north to south, you say 3' to 5'. That's one of the corners of the pentagon. By the way, nucleotides in the DNA are paired with certain nucleotides and only those nucleotides. And since DNA is double-stranded, one of the nucleotides would be on one side and the other nucleotides on the opposite side. The pairing goes like this: thymines with amines and guanines with cytosines. It's the same for the RNA that helps the ribosomes, but it's uracil with adenines. An easy way to remember this, that A's goes with T's or U's and C's goes with C's goes with G, is apple in the tree or apple under the tree and car in the garage. These pictures represent how DNA and RNA are related and stuff. So this is a chromosome which is found in a. So the green thing is a chromosome which is found in a nucleus, and in the chromosome is a DNA. In that DNA strand is this phosphate, sugar, and the bases. Those phosphate, sugars, and bases were sometimes pulled apart from each other, and they help code up a mRNA strand, which is sent back to a ribosome. These guys are attached again back to normal DNA, and the ribosomes decode the mRNA with the tRNA's help of finding the amino acids. So the tRNAs, as I said, remember, find the amino acids and chain them together to make a protein by following 3 nucleotides per gene. Anyways, that's it for my presentation. I hope you like it. Please vote for me for president.
Thank you for your very informative presentation.
Yeah, it was.
Is there any questions or something?
Yep. Hey, Aban, this is Kabir here. Great presentation, by the way. Quick question for you. So,
Okay.
what made you choose this topic?
One, I was just watching something on DNA like the other day. Two, it was like, kind of. I was also watching another video who was really related. I like to watch a lot of videos about DNA. Three, it just made me curious on like how is really DNA really works.
Nice. So, you mentioned a lot about DNAs and RNAs, right? And you also mentioned that the Pfizer vaccine is an RNA-based one. So, based on what you have seen, if you are offered the other vaccine, AstraZeneca, which is not RNA-based, would you take it? Or would you say, I want a Pfizer?
Sorry?
The vaccines that we have right now, right? The Pfizer one is an RNA-based. So, based on what you've read, upon this topic, do you think those are better? And would you, would you take a non-RNA based vaccine if it was?
Okay. This is going to be a very long response, like my presentation. Okay. Well, I think it's better to go with the RNA vaccines because then you don't have like these cells which thinks if, for example, if you were.
Aban, your audio is cut out.
Check your headset or so, Aban, if you have something like couldn't hear you suddenly.
Okay, yeah, that happens all the time.
It's good now, Aban.
It's good now. It's good now. Go ahead, no issues.
Okay, so I prefer the RNA vaccine because, for example, just imagine you're the already made protein in a vaccine, and you were injected into like the bloodstream, and you found your way into a cell. Okay, and when you do find your way into the cell, what happens when that cell multiplies? Well, it has to make a copy of that protein, right? So that's what DNA is for, since because you didn't give them the instructions. So only one cell or a few cells will have that one protein. But I think it's better to like multiply. Well, that's just my understanding though.
Thank you, Abba. I think we can move on.
Yeah, Febita, you were there, right? Do you have anything to ask or clarify?
Yes,
Please
I'm
go ahead.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, good now. Okay, sorry.
Next up, we have Ayan Salim with his live presentation on fluid property.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today I'll be talking about fluid properties. So what are fluid properties? So fluid properties are basically the different ways and methods that fluids can be measured. And before we head on further, let's first talk about what a fluid is. So a fluid is basically any substance that is flowable. So that could be any state of matter that any object or substance that is a liquid or gas, because both states of matter are flowable. For example, water is a fluid, and because it is a liquid which is flowable. So like I said before, any liquid or gas is considered a fluid. So some of the fluid properties that I will be talking about today are viscosity, density, buoyancy, and pressure. So let's first talk about viscosity. So viscosity is, like I said, a fluid property, and it measures the friction that happens between a fluid and a hard surface. So for example, if you were to compare the viscosity of water and honey, you would see that the honey would be more sticky, and because of this, the honey would be more viscous than the water. Viscous means that a fluid has more friction than compared to the compared fluid. So honey would be more viscous because it's having more friction against the hard surface because of its stickiness compared to water. So density. So this is another fluid property, and this measures the thickness or thinness of a fluid. So it is measured by the mass of the fluid divided by the volume of the fluid. So mass is basically the amount of matter there is in a certain object or substance, and volume is how much space there is in an object or substance. So basically the mass divided by the volume. So when measuring density, it will either be measured in kilograms per liters, or it will be measured in grams per milliliters. So these are the two SI units in science. So kilograms per liter is the more preferred SI unit. So basically SI unit is basically the international system unit that is used to measure this. So for example, water has 1 gram per milliliter, while milk has 1.04 grams per milliliter. So in this case, milk would be the denser fluid. So now let's talk about buoyancy. So buoyancy is another fluid property, and it is a force that determines if something floats or sinks. So for example, a rock is less buoyant than a pen when displaced in water. Displaced just means that when it is put in water, in a fluid. And because we know a rock is much more, it wouldn't float in water than compared to a pen. So buoyant just means being able to float. And the buoyant force is the up force in a fluid, or the floating force of a fluid. And you might be wondering, what is the down force of the fluid, or the sinking force? And that would be the gravitational force. So the last fluid property that I'll be talking about today is pressure. So pressure measures the compression of a certain object. So compression just basically means the decrease of volume of objects and substances. So as we talked about before, volume is basically how much space there is in an object or substance. So the volume would decrease in the object or substance when it is being compressed. So for example, when you squeeze a water bottle, that is compression, since you are decreasing the area inside of the water bottle or decreasing its volume.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is my experiment for my fluid properties science project. So as you can see, I have a water bottle filled with water and it is capped, and I also have a nail. So let's see what happens when I poke one hole into the water bottle, and what happens when I poke it out. So I made a hole, and when I pull it out, you can see that no water is pouring out of the hole. Now, this is only from me not touching the bottle. And as you can see, if I squeeze the bottle a bit, you can see that water is dripping out. So now let's see what happens when I puncture a second hole into the water bottle. So you might see that some of the water is coming out, but that's because I'm pressurizing it. So I'm going to make a second hole, and then now I'm going to pull it out. Now, as you can see, water is simultaneously pouring out of the hole. So now you might be asking why this is happening and how this is happening. So I'll be explaining this furthermore later on.
Okay. So
this is my experiment.
Okay, so before we move on, so basically you might be wondering why their water was not coming out of the first hole, but when I make the second hole, it only came out of the second hole. So this is because of something called atmospheric pressure. So we did briefly talk about pressure before, and atmospheric pressure is basically pressure that is surrounding any object or substance, and it happens in every single moment. And so because of this, the atmospheric pressure caused the water to stay inside of the bottle, and when I made one hole. But when I squeezed it, of course, I added pressure, so that caused there to be more force from my hand compared to the pressure that was from the atmosphere of the water bottle. When I made two holes, you saw that from the second hole, water had poured out, and the first hole still stayed without pouring any water out of it. So this was because air was simultaneously going inside of the first hole while water was simultaneously coming out of the second. So this might be a bit confusing at first, but this is just because we've got to remember that atmospheric pressure is basically pressure that is caused by the air surrounding the object or the substance. So because of this, it would cause that air to want to go inside of the bottle while the water had a chance to go out from the second hole. So if we had uncapped the water bottle, because this is a crucial part of the experiment. So if I had uncapped the bottle, so there was no cap, even if I made one hole in the bottle, water would come out because there would be so much pressure from the atmospheric pressure coming through the hole of the cap, and then that would cause it to go out through that one hole. Even if I made a second hole, it would still do the same thing. So thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
That was a really wonderful presentation. Thank you, Ayan.
Next, we have Seha doing a presentation up on water filtration.
Hania, before we move on, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Yeah. And so, good experiment. In your experiment, actually, I had two questions for you, not one. Sorry. In your experiment, right? Of the different parameters that were spoken about, right, in the fluid properties, which ones were all involved?
So that's a good question. So there were mainly three involved. So one of them, like I said before, was pressure. And there were two that weren't very easy to spot at first. You just have to dive a bit deeper on. So there's the fluid property of density, as air is much less dense than water. So that's one of the fluid properties. This leads to the second fluid property, which is buoyancy. And even though I said there would be some type of thing that would be displaced in the fluid to make it have a buoyant force, you might be thinking that there isn't really any obvious thing to lead to it being a buoyant force. But there is a buoyancy involved because air is basically floating on top of the water, because air has a lower has a lower density than the water, so it would have to float atop of the water.
Thank you. Yeah. And the other question that I had, and this is more of a something that I had a doubt on when you mentioned this, because from my childhood, I was always be told it's density that causes something to either float or sink, right? And you mentioned buoyancy. Which one is it really?
So really, the density is basically just leading to the buoyancy. So because so if a certain fluid or object has a lower density than the fluid that it is displaced in or put in, then it would obviously float, because if it had a higher density, then it would switch. So that's why when you put oil in water, it stays atop of the water and it doesn't go below it.
Thanks, Aya. Go ahead, Hania, up to you.
We have Seha doing a live presentation on water filtration.
So basically my project that I chose is water filtration, and the purpose of my project is to create a water filter that can be made using materials that are found around the home or that can be bought for $1 or $2. And it should be able to clean contaminated water, and it can be used for countries or places that don't have access to clean water. Water filtration is important because water is essential for living things to survive and thrive. Many people believe that water contamination happens in countries where there's less money, but it actually also happens in Canada as well. A lot of Indigenous communities around Canada suffer from lack of clean water and often drink water from plastic bottles, and they boil water multiple times for it to be safe for them to drink. Later on in the presentation, I'll be talking about a certain community. Creating an inexpensive water filter would help such communities drink cleaner water without spending a lot of money and without help from the government. So for my water filter, I used a plastic water bottle, clean coarse sand, gravel, activated charcoal, cotton balls, gardening dirt, water, and scissors, and a cup. So I used gardening dirt and water as a sample of a contaminated water, so I can test my water filter. The instructions is that I basically cut the bottom of the plastic bottle using scissors. Then I layered cotton balls, activated charcoal, sand, and gravel like 2-3 times until like the whole bottle was covered. And then I prepared my sample contaminated water with gardening soil and water. And I actually have it right here. I added some water. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but it's like slowly dripping down. And it's like clean water, but like the inside it's like soil basically. And these are some of the photos that I took when I did it like the first time. And then the video is dripping, but that's basically what's happening right here. So I had actually made another water filter before, but I hadn't kept the sand and the gravel, and that didn't really work out because the sand is needed for all the big pieces in the soil or in the contaminated water to be separated from the actual clean water. So the conclusion from this project that I got is that my water filter was successful and was able to filter the soiled water into water that is drinkable. Filters like these can be used for Indigenous communities who have either no access to clean water or very scarce access. So one of the communities that I'm going to be talking about is the Kashechewan community located in Northern Ontario. It's like an hour's drive from Timmins. Their water became contaminated and was unusable. So this caused a big portion of people in the community to get sick, and it caused lots of skin rashes. And they had a population of 1,900 people during the time that it happened. So this happened in 2005, but there have been lots of other communities who have also suffered from water contamination, and it has happened in like the recent years. Like there was one case in like 2019. So these people could not drink water, and the government really didn't support them apart from giving them bottled waters. And they kind of had to live off of the situation until people started realizing that this was happening, and then they teamed up to help them. But the government really didn't do anything. But water filters like these, if they can be made into large-scale water filters, it would be able to help Indigenous people who don't have the opportunity to drink clean water. And it would help people like us, kids like us, have a better future. That's it.
Thank you, Saya. One follow-up question. You actually answered one of my questions even before I asked it, so good for you. You mentioned that this is something that we could make potential use of it if it could be manufactured at a large scale, right? So, what's actually stopping this from being industrialized?
Many people don't really realize that you can make a difference with like things that you have. So people really need to understand that even if you don't have things like chemicals or like big scale environmental friendly stuff, you can still make water filters. So I feel like many kids like our age are kind of realizing that. So I feel like in the future, if people team up together, they actually will be able to make this. But now people don't really think about helping Indigenous communities, since they think that they need like chemicals and like high grade chemicals to make the contaminated water clean. But that's not really the case.
Thanks, Saya.
Assalamualaikum, Seha. Can I ask you one question?
Yeah, go for
That was
it.
an excellent presentation with an important topic, actually. So just out of curiosity, if you have any more photos or videos like how you did actually that experiment, I mean, the water, I just wanted to see the condition of the water before you purify and after you get it purified with your experiment, if you have something to share.
Oh, well, I actually did it right here, but I don't. Well, the water was like, it had soil.
Oh.
And this is my water filter, and this is the water that I poured through.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah.
So I guess I can show you the water before if I just pour this in.
Yeah.
So like this is how it would have looked before.
Oh, yeah, that part that I wanted to see.
And then like I would pour it in, and then it would just. Oh, I didn't take all of them out. Wait, hold on. So there's still some dirt in here, but it would still slowly drip through.
Yeah. So how long did that take you to get that purified one?
It only took like 30 seconds tops.
Okay.
For like 100 ml of water
Mm-hmm.
to get filtered through.
Do you think that if you use different materials to purify, that you would get more, clear water?
Before this, I had tried not using sand, and instead of cotton balls, I used toilet paper, but that didn't really help. So I think using gravel and cotton balls really has an impact, because without it, it was still like contaminated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Right.
the stuff that you use really matter, and it's kind of like a
Yeah.
try and test type of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. Thank you.
No problem.
Next up, we have Aisha with the topic air pressure.
Air pressure. In this experiment, we will learn how heat affects air pressure. At its core, air pressure is a measure of the weight of air. We are going to heat up 2 soda cans with some water in them to fill them with steam. Then we will put them both in ice water to see what happens. One will be upside down and the other will not be. To do this experiment, you will need a large bowl, 2 empty soda cans, some tongs, and some ice. First, we're going to take the soda cans and fill each of them with a tablespoon of water. Then we will use tongs to carefully hold it over the stove on low heat until the water starts boiling. Transfer the can on top of the bowl of water. Flip the can immediately and watch as it collapses in on itself. If you repeat the experiment but don't flip the can, nothing will happen. How it works. When we heat the can, the water inside boils and forces out the air inside and replaces it with water vapor. When the can is placed in the ice water, the water vapor inside condenses back into water, leaving the can filled with low air pressure. Usually, the air pressure inside the can is the same as the outside. Because the air pressure outside remains the same, the can collapses in on itself. Thank you.
Any questions to the judges?
Yes, Aisha. So, why did you choose this topic?
I chose this because I was curious about air pressure and the difference between hot air and cold air.
And how did you get to this specific experiment?
I researched about air pressure and I found out that if you put water in a soda can and if you heat it up, the air will escape and then it'll be filled with water vapor. And if you cool it again, the water vapor is going to condense back into water.
Thank you.
Next, we have Afnan with a presentation about static electricity.
Hi, my name is Afnan, and today I'll be discussing the science of static electricity. What is static electricity? Well, let's first discuss the nature of matter, where it all starts. Matter is made up of atoms that consist of 3 types of small particles: negatively charged electrons, positively charged protons, and neutral neutrons. In an atom, the electrons and protons are balanced out. That's why most matter is electrically neutral. For an example, if you take an apple, you won't get a static charge because it is electrically neutral. Electrons are very small, so friction or rubbing can give them enough energy to leave their atoms. So it is left with more protons because it is not balanced anymore. And that matter becomes positively charged. The matter with more electrons are negatively charged. Here is an example of static electricity. So, what happens here is, while you're walking on the carpet, your negatively charged electrons rub off you, cause to friction. And now your body is positively charged because there is no more balance in your atoms. And when you go to touch the doorknob, the metal doorknob, the negatively charged electrons on it come onto your hand to restore the balance. That is what the immediate shock is. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed my presentation. Next time, remember this before getting another static charge.
That was a nice presentation, Afnan, and a well demonstrated performance. Thanks.
Judges?
Any questions?
No questions. But nice presentation.
And last but not least, we have Abdullah with the topic acids and bases.
Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm going to talk. Assalamu alaikum. My science project is about acids and bases. We are going to prove the science of acids and bases with the experiment I have laid out here, the balloon experiment. Well, what is an acid and what is a base? Well, the properties of an acid are sour, but the properties of a base are bitter. So a lemon is sour, so it's an acid. And aloe vera is bitter, so it's a base. So, acids contradict bases. This is because acids are hydrogen ion concentrated, while bases are hydroxyl ion concentrated. So then, what are ions? Well, if we zoom in so much, we can find that every single thing in this universe is made up of small, tiny particles. These particles separated are ions. And so, these particles together make a molecule. And a chemical reaction is due to molecules and particles. So, what we're going to do is move on to the experiment. So, what I have here is vinegar, baking soda, a spoon, a cup, a balloon, and yes. So, first we're going to start off with what is the chemical reaction. Well, I'm going to take a bottle of vinegar and pour it into the cup. Then I'm going to add some baking soda. Watch closely. This is because on the measure of the pH scale scientists use, the hydroxyl in the baking soda is high, and the hydrogen ion concentration is very high in the vinegar. So how can we use this to fill up a balloon? So what we do is we take a bottle and we pour a cup of vinegar into the bottle through the funnel. Next, we take some baking soda and pour it into the balloon. We make sure that everything goes into the balloon and everything is inside the balloon. Next, what we do is we wrap the balloon around the cap. And we will see what happens when we put all of them together. All the colors are just food coloring and some other coloring methods. Now, let's understand why this works and why is there carbon dioxide in this balloon. So we are going to talk about the chemical reaction within the baking soda and vinegar within those 5 bottles. So sodium is part of baking soda, hydrogen is, carbon is, and 3 oxygen are. Together, these make sodium carbonate. CH3COOH is the same as 2 carbon, 4 hydrogen, and 2 oxygen, and that is vinegar. These are the chemicals in vinegar, the particles. And these particles make molecules. When mixed together, what we have is sodium, Na, carbon, CO2, carbon dioxide, H2O, water, and CH3COO acetate, which is carbon, 3 hydrogen, carbon, and 2 oxygen. I hope you understood everything listed in this video. It's very easy to do this in your household with common household items. I thank you for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Judges, any questions?
Very cool presentation, Abdullah. A lot of demonstrations. It was really cool.
So that's it for the YG2 Science Fair. I hope you all enjoyed and thank you for listening.
Okay.
Kabir, Febita, any final Hafiz, any final questions before we finish the Abdullah session? Good, right? Febita, anything from you?
Yes, just one question. That was a good, very interesting presentation, and you showed good skills in handling the chemicals. And my question is could you just explain? I think that I have missed that point. Like, what was that colored solutions that you kept? The same acetic acid, or the same vinegar? Why did you put that color? Just to make it attractive?
Yeah, the color is just food coloring.
Okay. Yeah. Right, that was a good job. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, Hafiz.
Yeah. So thank you, judges Kabir and Febita, and thank you all the participants from YG2 for this great presentation. So right now we are opening it up for all the audience to ask any questions in case you have made a note of the experiment, and if you have any questions you can ask now. You can call out the names and ask questions. So while you're doing this, on the background, our judges would be working and giving us a score. So once we have this score, we will announce the winners. So it might take 5 minutes. So you have 5 minutes to discuss and ask any questions to the participants. Okay.
Anybody has any specific questions on any experiments, you can ask the participants accordingly. Nobody has anything to ask her after seeing all these experiments?
So did you enjoy the science fair?
I enjoyed it.
So what did you like about the science fair?
Different topics.
Okay.
I liked how some experiments were like cool.
Nice.
Did anyone wants to try anything that you saw today? Inspired by anything?
I want to try one of the things.
Which one is that, Mohammed?
Tornado in a bottle.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So if you guys want any information, right, feel free. We all are like one group, right? So you can always ask any info that you need. And the other guys can, whoever has done the experiment can guide you with some information. Okay.
Yeah, learn from each other, ask for help. That is very important, right?
So we got the results for YG1 ready, just waiting for YG2, because just got over. We'll just take 5 more minutes for them to finalize, the calculations and all. So Aban, you raised your hand. You didn't say anything after that.
No, I was raising my hand because I like the science fair.
Good, yeah.
I have a question. Are the judges gonna decide for the vote, or are we gonna decide?
It would be the judges.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have shared the scoring criteria, calculation sheet, everything with the judges. So they are just, filling it with different, details. So we'll get the details very soon, actually. Yeah. Just wait.
So any big plans for summer? Anyone?
My mom said we might go cherry picking, strawberry picking.
Do you like cherry and strawberry?
I like strawberry, but I don't like cherry.
Then why are you picking it?
I don't think we're picking cherry. I think we're picking strawberry. I don't like cherry because it has a big seed when you bite it.
Okay. Okay, I think while we wait for the results, we have a small announcement regarding the next session. So since it's summer and it's also the month that we have our Eid al-Adha, we might be busy with all celebrations, and maybe Canada is opening up, so we might be planning for some travel. So we YQuest would be taking a break for next month, so we won't be having a session next month, that is in July, but we will definitely be back with other programs and a different topic. We'll announce a topic for August month in July, but yeah, just want to let you know that we won't be having YQuest in July. We'll be taking a break, but we'll be back in August. Okay. Okay, so waiting to
Jamshid,
get.
Saju, if you guys are like Jamshid, you there, right? Saju?
Yeah, I am here.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Like maybe once Hafiz shows the thing, maybe you can just announce it. We're still waiting for Kabir and Fabita to get the results sorted.
So after July, we have 5 more months of YQuest. So is there anything in particular you would like to see happening in YQuest? Yeah, go ahead, Aban.
Anything like maybe a session where we like learn how to code stuff,
Okay.
because I like to code in the summer.
Okay. Good suggestion. Anybody else? Any other topic or any other format that you like?
I would like to see like a sports themed YT session because I love sports and many of us also might do.
Okay.
I like to do fun stuff. I like to go outside when it's the summer because it's a nice weather.
Okay.
Mohammed
so
doesn't want YQuest actually. He wants to go out. Right?
Yeah, on Mohammed's point and also Aman's point, maybe not part of YQuest, but the Youth Nation team, we have started talking about a sports meet. Nothing final, but we are still discussing. We'll carefully see how Ontario is opening up and what the rules would be if as per rules they are allowing people to meet and have sports. We will definitely plan, but yeah, that is on our mind in terms of upcoming programs in Youth Nation.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Anything else? You guys can think of whenever you feel something. Let us know as well. We can try to accommodate.
Yeah, Officer, first there is some comments for coding.
Okay, that is the language, right? They won't use a Scratch software or the Pythons and all. Yeah, we'll definitely, it's there in our cards, right? For the technological session, we'll definitely maybe try to come up with something of that sort. See, all programming languages are coming up, right?
Learning coding in my school.
That's good, Aiden. Yeah. That's what we'll try to see. We'll see. Let's see how it goes. That's what we don't want to bring in something which we want something which is useful for everybody, right? Across the age groups. So we'll try to come up with something. Yeah. Thanks for the suggestions.
When we were your age, when we were studying, the maximum that we received from our school was maybe creating Word documents or Excels and stuff. So now you guys are talking about coding. That's good.
Yeah. Kabir, Fabita, if you guys are there in Zoom, any update? Okay, let me have to call them out. Also, while waiting for the final result, right? Generally, we do a poll to decide the best team leads. From YG1, we pick one, and we pick one from YG2. But this time, being both the team members did a wonderful job, right? Working with the various members, getting the videos, sharing with us, uploading them to Drive, and calling out the names, working with the judges. So a lot of things they were helping very closely with us. We did meet with the team leads a couple of times, separately as well. So appreciating all those efforts, we would like to make all the 4 team leads as the winners, and and then all 4 will get a small prize from us. Okay. And really great job, team leads. We just make
First, I have sent you the list in WhatsApp.
Okay.
Okay, give me a minute.
Yeah. I've sent it out, Hafiz, to our group.
Okay, just give me 60 seconds.
maybe Hafiz, we can hand it over to judges itself to announce, like while you prepare
Yeah.
it ready. Like, yeah. Jamshid, you want to go ahead if I don't see
One
Saju around?
second. Let me share.
If
Okay,
Saju is
so winner announcement. Over to you, YG1 judges. Are you ready?
if Saju is there, I think.
Yeah, I
Saju
just
will-
joined. Maybe
Yeah.
I can announce the third place and second place, and Jamshid, you can announce the first place.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So first of all, well done, everyone. Both the judges had a very good time judging your projects. Most of you did a good job, and also a good job in explaining your projects. Now over to the winners. So before we announce the winners, there are two participants where the judges felt that we should give them an honorable mention, and they did a good job. And they are the first honorable mention is Yahya Dileen. Well done, Yahya. And the second honorable mention is Shazin Muhammad. Well done, Shazin. Okay, now going to the third place winner. The third place winner is Hina Nazil for her static electricity project. Well done, Hina.
Maybe you guys can unmute and give a clap.
Okay, now to the second prize. The second prize goes to Aizal Anuraz. Well done, Aizal. Both the judges thought that Aizal's project was the most complex of all the projects that we saw today. And even though she failed in getting a result, it was still an experiment, and you get to learn something from that experiment. So this is a reward for a failure, but this reward is for attempting to do a complex project and trying to learn something so that in the next step, you can try to improve on that project. Okay. So well done, Aizal. Okay. Over to you, Jamshid, for the first prize winner.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Saju. So Saju was mentioning it was not an easy task, and it's a normal statement from every judge. But when you judge only, you will come to know how difficult it is. So the first prize or first winner goes to Noreen Kabir for the homemade lava lamp. So she's the winner as per our combined discussion. And the mainly what we were seeing is like how well she explained and how technically she's aware of what all things. So that's one good part which everybody need to follow. Like whenever you are doing, you need to explain about that and detail whatever you are doing, understanding that. So those all things come into picture. Yeah, so congrats to Noreen and all other winners and every participant. So we are congratulating everyone for the whatever they showcased over here. It was very good. Thanks.
Thank you, judges, and congratulations to all the winners and all the participants. Okay, over to YG2, Kabir and Febita.
Yep. Yep. And I would, echo what was mentioned by the previous judges. It was really close, the whole competition. And I have to say, really amazed and impressed by the range of topics that the folks have selected and how much they put into it. So really impressive lineup and difficult to judge, but yeah, I mean, we do have the final outcome of it. And before I go ahead and announce the positions, I would say congratulations to all the participants, and Keep up the good effort. I'm more particularly impressed with this whole lineup because I used to be the kind of person who used to run away from science fest in school. So it is impressive that you came forward and showcase your talents on this. Right now, moving on to the results, I would say we have. So the third place winner we have here is Saiha for her water filtration experiment. Congratulations, Saiha. In second position, we have Ayan Salim for his fluid properties. Congrats, Ayan. And in the first position, we have Abdullah for his acids and bases. Congrats, Abdullah. And like I mentioned earlier, congrats to all the participants. You all did a great job.
Thank you, judges, and congratulations to winners and all the participants. Great job, everyone. Okay, so with that, we come to the end of science fair. I definitely had fun. I hope you all had fun too. Before we close, any comments from anyone? Okay, I take this as a no. Once again, thank you
I have
all.
one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the next month we don't have a YQuest. What's the topic after the next month?
That is still being planned. We will definitely let you know either by the end of this month or early next month.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, Mohammed.
What prizes do the leadership people get?
It'll be $10 each, generally, yeah, for the team leads, each of the team leads will get $10 each. And for the science fair winners, the first position will get $50, second position will get 30, the third one will get 20, and the special mention prizes, right, they will get $10 each. Okay, so we will send you the summary and details out very soon. Okay.
And who's the first place, second place, third place?
You didn't see that? It was announced just now, right? It was like Noreen,
No,
Hazel, and yeah.
for the leadership.
No, we didn't have any first and second. You both are winners this time. Okay, all team leads have been taken as the winners. You're not happy with that, right, Mohammed? You want you to be the winner. Okay.
Okay, everyone. Thank you and Assalamu alaikum.
One more thing.
Yeah.
I just want to add congratulations to all the winners. And as Paddy said, it's not about winning, but you are gaining the knowledge and keep on experimenting and learn and try things. Okay.
Yeah. And Faris has shared his presentation, with us. We can share it with the group as well. You guys can go through that, and reach out to him as well if you guys need some guidance. Okay.
Okay.
Then let's wind up.
Thank you.